All right, you're still with me in these videos. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Dr. Todd at Mount Dora Family Chiropractic, and in this video, I'm going to show you 5 tests in the neck and 2 in the lower back to help determine and identify, do you have a pinched nerve, okay? So just like this, we're going to start with the neck, and we're going to assume that I'm having symptoms down my right side, okay? So the first test we're going to do is called a compression test, and it's kind of an overall test to see if I've got irritation in the joints, occluding the opening or the foramen where the nerves are coming out. So the way we're going to do that is real simple. We're going to extend up, we're going to tilt towards the affected side and rotate towards the affected side. So basically we're encroaching the space for the nerve, all right? So in a healthy spine, that's, I don't have any symptoms, but if you've got damage and inflammation, where the nerves entrapped or pinched, you're going to know about it, okay? So we're going to start there. If you have symptoms here, you can stop. If that exacerbates your symptoms, just stop. It's a positive test. Now, if you're not really noticing an exacerbation, the next step is to apply some light pressure straight down on top of your head to further push those joints together, to further bring that foramen closed, to see again if you're getting that shooting pain, increase in numbness and tingling, things like that. Positive compression test, okay? Now, primarily you've got 3 nerves that are going to be irritated coming from the neck. They're going to be your one of 3, or some variation of them because there's an overlap. So you're going to have radial nerve, median nerve, and ulnar nerve. All right, so there are 3 tests for each of those. So I want to show you that. The first one we're going to do is the median nerve. All right. Now the median nerve, if you're having symptoms, is primarily going to occupy, either pain, numbness and tingling, pins and needles. Usually it's going to be from the this inside edge of my ring finger over, okay? And we'll get some over the tops of my fingers here and half of that finger. So again, if you're getting like half of that ring finger, you want to be thinking, well, that's the median nerve. So the test for that is we're going to put our arm straight out. We're going to drop our hand down, kind of extending the wrist. Again, so if you're getting exacerbation of symptoms here, you can stop there. But if you're not getting an exacerbation, the next step to increase the intensity is to lean away. So now we're tethering, if you will, the nerve. So again, if you're getting an exacerbation of symptoms down the arm or hand, positive test for the median nerve, okay? The next nerve we'll test for is the ulnar nerve. That is going to give you symptoms on this lateral side or outer side of this ring finger, all of the pinky finger, and kind of this part of the palm of your hand, this kind of outside edge, okay? So that is, again, the ulnar nerve. And it's kind of an odd test, but it's kind of like when we used to be kids and you goof around and you do these numbers. So that's kind of what you're going to do. You're going to do the A-OK sign. Affected side is my right. We're going to flip my arm around like that. So you might feel an exacerbation there, and again, you can try to lean away. You're further tethering and stressing areas of the nerve and the foramen, so exacerbation is a positive test. And the last one we want to do is a test for the radial nerve. Now the radial nerve is we're looking at the top part of your hand, okay, and it's primarily going to have symptoms, now let's do it this way, right in through here, not the tips, but from about here and over, all right, that's your radial nerve. And the way we're going to do that test is you're going to stand, you're going to turn your palm out like this and flex your wrist. Again, if that exacerbates it, you can stop. The next step is to lean away. Again, further tethering that level of the spine and the foramen, irritating that nerve. Okay, so that would be a positive test for the radial nerve. All right? Now the last test we're going to do is called the relief test. In other words, now we're going to do a test. This is probably more fun. Maybe we should start with this one. Relief sounds good. And basically, if it relieves your symptoms, that's a positive, okay? So what you're going to do, again, we're going to assume it's my right side is affected side. I'd recommend, if you're home, have like a pillow or something like that, a cushion in your lap, so that your arm can just rest really comfortably, really relaxed, no pressure on that arm, okay? And then once we're here, we're just going to gently lean away. And what we're doing in this case with the arm totally relaxed and flexed like this is we're actually trying to open that joint space. Okay, so in other words, we're making more room for the nerve to come through, and it can give us some relief. So if you feel a release of or a decrease in your symptoms, that's a positive relief test. Okay, so those are 5 tests for It's called cervical radiculopathy, or where you have pinched or irritated nerves in the neck coming down your extremity, all right? The next two tests are for your lower back. So pinched nerve in your lower back, aka lumbar radiculopathy, aka sciatica. Everyone's heard of sciatica. So pretty nasty, deep pain, sharp pain down in the buttock, back of the leg. Sometimes it can radiate around to the front of the groin. Very unpleasant, okay? So if you're not sure what's going on with your spine, you want to find out, is it sciatica? Do I maybe have a disc issue that's pushing or irritating that nerve? One is called the slump test, okay? And being a chiropractor, I hate to demonstrate this one, but it's only for test purposes, all right? So it's called the slump test. So you're literally going to slump, just let your posture fall like this. So you're really loading that lower back. Again, if this exacerbates your symptoms, you should probably just stop there, okay? And then the next step, again, if it's my right side is the affected side, I'm gonna stay slumped, and then I'm gonna pull my leg straight up like that. So I'm now tethering the nerve that's going down my leg, or the sciatic in this case, okay? So that would be a positive slump test if it exacerbates your symptoms. And the other test, which is real simple, is called a Valsalva maneuver. And that is simply, you're gonna take a breath in, and then hold your breath and bear down, kind of like you're flexing your stomach, all right? And that's gonna increase what's called intrathecal pressure within your spinal column. And if you have a disc lesion, like a bulge or herniation, that is going to exacerbate your symptoms. And you might get that zap of pain or bolt down the leg, okay? So go easy, that's the Valsalva maneuver, all right? Hopefully you found those helpful. If you're having positive signs and symptoms and you're really struggling, we've helped, I don't know, in 20 years, I've helped thousands of people with these exact problems. Chiropractic is great at it. If we're not in your neck of the woods, we'd be happy to help you find somebody in your town or state. Our mission is just to help people. We can't see everybody here anyway. If you're local, we'd love to meet you and see if we can help. Schedule yourself a complimentary consultation if you'd like, or book an exam. And if you found this video helpful and you think someone else might benefit, please pass it along. Thanks for watching. Next video, we're gonna go over some things you can be doing at home to try to get some relief, all right? God bless.